Hello, everybody. Shifu the Cards here. We are doing another episode of Gwent After Dark. Thank you all for being a part of the show already. Some of you joined in already, and I really appreciate that. So today's show, we usually have a revolving cast. We're trying to we have a smaller cast today. So I thought I'd introduce everybody real quick to tonight's show. And first, we'll start off, as always, with Ruben. You had a little music intro there. Sorry.
Real tournament intro there. Yeah, I'm always glad to be here to discuss Gwent. It's really great to actually talk about this, something I love.
Yeah, sorry about that, Ruben. I had the Twitch on in the background, and the commercial came up, and you were blasted out. But you got in at the end.
I was completely blasted out of doing it. Okay.
Yes,
so
yes.
I'll do that. Yeah. So my name's Ruben, and I'm the co-host of Gwent After Dark. I love talking about Gwent, one of my favorite games. So I'm always happy to be here and talk a little bit about Gwent.
All right, thank you, Ruben. It's always great to have you, man. And so, welcoming, we also have a special guest, Mr. Little League.
What up? So guys, Little League, you know me, hanging around Discord. I'm like the spare part of After Dark. I come and go as needed. I'm glad to help out Shifu and give some opinions, and looking forward to today's show.
Awesome, man. The spare part, I like that. All right, and I have changed my name for this show to Shifu of the Weather. I made a lot of weather decks here lately, so I thought I'd have a little fun with that. So there we are. That's today's cast, and we are going to break right into it. Raise the curtain. And here we go. I have a nice little hat on and everything. So let's go back to Discord server, and we're going to break into our audience, cut in, and we're going to go ahead and there we go. So Ruben went ahead and put today's topics on the board. Audience members, y'all can start chiming in. But the first thing we're going to talk about, real easy, real simple. Jimmy Dot says not after dark. Yeah, it depends on your time zone. So general impressions of the closed beta. I'll just open it up. Whoever wants to start off, and we can start. This is going to be a good topic. So whoever wants to start, you go ahead.
Ruben, go.
Yeah, I'll go ahead for this one. So basically, finally, it's here. Finally, we can legitimately play Gwent. And it's kind of amazing, actually. It's kind of hard to believe. But so far, impressions are good for me. Of course, some things are broken. Not broken, but kind of need some tweaking there and here. But overall, my feeling, I just want to know your kind of feeling of the game so far, if it's heading in a good direction or not. But for me, it's in a really, really good direction at the moment. It can always do better, but I think so far it's doing pretty good. I don't know what about you, Lil Leak, what you think about this, but
yeah, it's been unbelievable. Obviously, the first day was the best. Waiting in that beta key, man, I'm not joking. I thought I was going to piss my pants. And then when I finally got the key, I'm like some little kid at Christmas. Get into the beta, try every faction, see what they're offering as a basic deck. But yeah, I was quite surprised that it's maybe a little more Hearthstone-like than a lot of people expected. But in a good way, that fun RNG. Couple of problems, few RNG problems here and there, we'll probably get to. But I was quite surprised. I was glad that it wasn't just like chess, like so serious. There was a bit of fun and flair in there also.
That's pretty interesting. So I will definitely talk more about that. So I'll just get into my initial impressions. I was super stoked. Bought a bunch of packs. Or kegs, excuse me. Loved it. The game plays smooth. There's some bugs we'll talk about. Plays smooth. It has a good element of. I think you have to be a little intelligent in how you play. I like it more than Hearthstone because you have to. There's a lot more factors involved with just drawing cards and then playing combos from your hand. You have to keep them toward resource management was still a crucial. I thought maybe drawing the cards would have ruined that. It doesn't really. There's still a crucial element of resource management in the game. People are starting to build better decks as we go throughout the week. I played it from the very first day. I got very lucky to get in. And I've seen a tremendous progression in quality of decks from day one to yesterday. this is going to be an incredible game with a lot of great decks and a lot of great strategies. I saw some RNG, like the league said, and I kind of agree. I was kind of taken back when he compared it to Hearthstone, but then I thought about it, and yeah, there is some light RNG elements, but I think it's still a much more strategic game than Hearthstone.
Oh, definitely, in my opinion. The fact that you almost always have like a guaranteed chance, but like if you put cards into your deck and you're going for 25 or something, there's almost like there's a certain percentage of the cards that you'll draw that you actually need, and those percentages are very high, and that's what makes it actually very strategic. Because if in Hearthstone, if you're building a deck around something, chances you get the actual card that's actually very difficult to get. But here in Gwent, you almost always get your combo piece, especially with the mulligan of 3 cards.
Yeah, and the fact you get 10 cards in your starting hand is massive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Matter of fact, the 10 cards, if you build, now Lily and I have a lot of fun with this 25-26, but if you build a deck of 25 cards, which most of my decks are, which was the initial joke once I got serious, but some 26, when you get 10 and you mulligan 3, that's basically you're getting 50% of your deck into your hand. That's 13 of 26, 13 of 25, and truly, I don't think I've ever, like for example, I'm thinking of my Monster XL deck. I have always got a Crone in my hand. Every game, through mulliganing or opening hand, I just always have a Crone, which is crucial to that deck. And I can't think of another deck where I'm thinking of my monster decks where I didn't get a key card or a way of searching for a card in the Northern Realms deck to get it. I think the 10 card hand size is really good. I think the draw. I've switched over. I love the draw. 2 cards at the end of round 1 and 1 card at the end of round 2. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah, I think it actually isn't that bad for the game. But still, there's kind of that feeling like, I hope I draw that card, maybe I'll draw it then. But still, it's not too bad actually. I thought it would be less, it would make it less strategic, but it's still kind of, it gives you the feeling like, I hope I get that card. And there's a little bit of RNG there, but you know, as I say, in a card game, RNG makes the game fun and last more longer, or makes the lifespan a little bit longer. So I think it's overall in a really good state at the moment. Maybe it could be like a little bit less, maybe 1 card every turn or something, or after the 3rd round. Yeah, I know, maybe there might be a more optimal way to do it, but right now it's in a pretty good spot for me.
So
Yeah, so
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So everyone knows, like, around the Discord and that I was always quite hard on the 25 number, and the real reason is because you get 10 cards in your hand. Do you know what I mean? And then you get the mulligan 3. So you're talking about you're going over 50% of your deck, just over it. Do you know what I mean? And then you've only got 12 cards to pull from. And with the limited draw options, I think it's crucial that you don't even go over 1 card. Like, I really do. From playing the game, I thought, wow, do you know what I mean? Like, you're only drawing 3 times. There's hardly any draw card unless you're playing a discard archetype. And I really do feel now after playing it that you just should stick to 25.
You do have a point there, because a lot of times when I played my Northern Realms deck and I had all my combo pieces, I was like, I don't want to like throw away another card because I have a Reaver Scout and I don't want like the second one, or I have a Reinforce and I don't want the second copy of that card. So I only used like 1 mulligan, or I only mulliganed 2 cards, and I like left my 3rd mulligan. So there's actually a good point, because I'm not using the full potential of my mulligan. I'd say 60% of the times even.
Yeah, that happens to me also. So I think I always was trumping for the minimum amount anyway, but I think now after playing, like, I really think you're crazy if you go over 25.
Well, that's actually interesting. I think that I've only used a full mulligan maybe 10% of the time. It's a good point. I think that there's a lot of times I only mill 1 card or mulligan 1 card. I think that it's a really good hand size of drawing 10. So we like the draw. So what decks have stood out to y'all in the closed beta? We'll start with Ruben. What decks have you played against or played with that have stood out to you as maybe a little overpowered? Some decks that are just a little underwhelming. What do you think?
Your monster deck. Holy shit, man. What the fuck? I played when your video came out of your monsters deck. Suddenly, the ladder was filled with like people who tried to make it or fully made it. And man, it was so hard for me. Actually, not playing any kind of solution to the deck, it was pretty damn hard to counter it. And I kind of like quit and just went and played Battlefield. Because man, it's really hard to counter. And I was thinking, and it's pretty difficult. I think I have a counter for it now, kind of like buffing my units and stuff. But it's really difficult. Another deck that stood out to me, and I played randomly against King Blackbeard twice in a row, and he used this deck with what's his name? Let me just Olgierd, of however you name him.
Really?
Head, and he played a deck where he placed him, and it was like his play was like a little bit underwhelming, and I had like 30 powers already, and I just passed. And then he used 6 cards to buff it all the way up to 60 power, and he promoted it. And that card kept coming back like at 60 power, and man, that was a good deck. I had nothing I could do against. It's a hard combo to pull. But then I played another round with him, and I knew his tactic, so I immediately like used Philippa or something to immediately crush his streams, and I kept Scorch and stuff like that. So the first time it's really, you don't see it coming, but the second time you can totally counter it actually.
Yeah, that's it. I've had the cheese encounter myself once, except it was doing the after the turn pass buffing and then putting on the adrenaline to take over to the next round. And the funny thing about it, I queued into the very same guy the next game and then just completely crushed him.
Yeah, it's funny how hard you can counter it once you actually know it. But if you don't know it, how you can.
Oh, if you don't know it, you lost. That's it. You lost.
I just quit.
Yeah.
He had this big minion. We went to the second round and it was like GG, and I just conceded because I had no way of actually beating that. That was amazing, and I had so much fun actually seeing that. But then, yeah, the second time it was a little bit easier to counter. And also, I haven't actually seen that much Skellige, and especially Scoia'tael. Not a lot of Scoia'tael in my opinion.
So I think most of us got it right that Monsters and Northern Realms would be played the most.
Yep.
For myself, I was looking for a free-to-play deck, but not just free-to-play and competitive. So I tried each of the decks, and I thought the Scoia'tael starting set is terrible, especially with Francesca. I just think you can't be competitive. And Skellige, Frost completely destroys you if you're free to play again. So I went with Monster because I feel like with the scraps, if you craft Caranthir and Lashen straight away with them 2 cards, I believe you've got a competitive deck. So Monsters is where I've went, and I feel was a great free to play faction for me.
That's interesting.
So I've been playing Weather Control, but the Perman version, not the Shifu wallet version.
I like that.
Yeah,
Robert.
The wallet version.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's interesting. Yeah. So I monsters have been really dominant with me. I've played. I have 3 different monster decks. One's just for fun. It's a meme. It's the Nest deck. The Monster XL deck and the Weather deck are ridiculous. Both of them are weather based, but both of them are very hard to counter. Very, very hard to counter. They're very strong. I haven't just now. I'm speaking from a monster perspective here. When I totally agree with Little League, Scoia'tael is very underwhelming. If I match up with the Scoia'tael, and I probably make some people mad here, but I'm just speaking honestly, I consider it an instant win. If I play against, I mean, if they put a trap card down, it makes no difference. I just avoid the trap. If I play against Skellige as a monster player with weather, if they play a wound deck, I have no concern. If they play a weather resilient deck, which is very rare, then it could be an interesting match against a monster weather deck. Against Northern Realms, I'm not concerned at all. They have one tactic in Northern Realms, and I've seen that on Gwent Discord, where they do the famous promote those siege engines that become, they get points for gold, or they promote, they do that promote, and then they do Adrenaline Rush. But if you weather them down and keep them in check, there's really not much to worry about with those. And then other monster decks, it's a slugfest, and Eridan's usually the win condition on either side, and it's just good. But I agree with Little League. Scoia'tael is really, bad. And I know they have some. I've seen some cool Soitel decks as I've progressed, and the decks have gotten better. But they can just be weathered out. I mean, they that one card that gets pluses for every action, and it can get pretty high, but then you just weather it down, and it's gone. Or you scorch it, and it's gone. There's just not a lot. The traps, there's not a lot. They need more trap cards. And then they need trap cards that aren't very obvious. Like maybe if you couldn't see where the trap was placed, you couldn't avoid it as easy. But there's just something. I tried to build a Neophyte. I've put a lot of money into it already. I tried to build a Neophyte deck, a Soitel, and it just doesn't. It's just too hard. You're working so hard with so many resources to do some cool plays. Frost comes on the board, and all your hard work is wiped out. It's demoralizing.
You know what my general impression of the closed beta actually is right now? 3 words. Weather is OP. That's my impression.
I called it. I told you guys.
Weather can actually shut down almost any deck, and it's pretty frustrating as well because it's so strong. Because every card as well, it's not like Commander's Horn that it is actually like the old Commander's Horn. It's an active effect. While cards like Commander's Horn are now a single time effect. And I think if Weather becomes the one time effect, so when you place them down, they stay on the same strength, I think then Weather would be actually in a much better spot. But right now, I think they're they're a little bit too strong because they can as you said, they completely shut down Squirtle, completely. It's just unplayable. And yeah, that's actually my general impression of the closed beta. Weather is too strong, way too strong.
And from my own perspective, it's not a surprise. It is what I expected. When you look at the card set and you look at monsters, it's like if I've got cards like Caranthir and Ashen, I'm playing Weather for free, so that's instant value, 2 for 1. Then you've got your Weather cards also. It's like, and they just can't remove it. And like, who wants to run ×3 Clear Skies? Like nobody's doing it.
Nobody.
Like on the first 2 days, I never even seen Clear Skies once.
Well, that's the thing.
Almost.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if you're running against a deck like mine, and if I see a Clear Skies, it's laughable. Because I know that already I've beaten you because you've taken away 1, 2, 3, whatever slots it is for Clear Skies. If you've seen my deck or decks like it, we run nothing but Weather. We can just as easily cast it again. We will never run out of Weather as opposed to 1 or 2 Clear Skies buffs. It's not going to make a difference. I mean, Clear Skies doesn't matter. Now see with Clear Sky, now here's an idea. Now if Clear Skies was buffed to where Clear Skies said, and you can no longer play Weather on that row or a row, that would be a little better, because then it would be like, oh, well, that row is now out of my control. But as it is, Clear Skies goes away. Okay, Ragnarok, the whole board is swarmed again. Like I'll play like a Biting Frost on the first row, just because I can. If they play Clear Skies, guess how many Frost spells I have in my hand? I have a unit that brings Frost. I have a leader ability that brings Frost. I have so much that brings Frost that it doesn't. Who cares about Clear Skies? And just real quick on the audience, Jimmy Josh, thank you for being there, and Mule. Jimmy Josh says, I think for the Soitel buff deck, there's just a better Northern Realms version because NR has promote. That is extremely accurate. Yeah. Mule types in Elven Mercs, my friend, Elven Mercs. And to that I would say,
all the way.
Yeah, I mean, Weather.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I've never lost to a Soitel deck.
I think they're going to go down the route of just bringing in tech cards like the way we see Griffin, except they give Griffin to the wrong faction.
Right?
Arch Griffin should not be a monster card.
Right? I totally agree. You're right. There's got to be a way. That's like, okay, so monsters who thrive on Weather, you gave us the clear Weather card.
Yeah, it needs to be neutral, probably, and then it's not a bad tech card. Most people's not going to feel so bad about running it, so
Also,
probably neutral.
Good point from Jimmy Josh. If you run Clear Weathers and you're playing, for example, against Northern Realms who buffs, what the hell do you have in your hand?
Right?
You have a Clear Weather. I mean, it's useless. It's just a waste of a card. And with actually drawing the cards, you don't have. If you draw another Clear Weather, for example, you just lost because you lost so much power.
See,
Your cards.
Here's what I would like. It's just popped into my head, and I want to know what you think about it. So, Clear Weather. It's a tech card you don't want, sure, you know what I mean? It's a tech card you don't want. So I'm thinking do they maybe change Clear Skies where when it clear skies it gives your units a slight buff, or at least what about if they take away the Deuterium Bomb effect of weather? So meaning that if you buff units in a clear weather and the buff stays, do you use like that? Oh, Jimmy Josh has just mentioned it also.
Yeah, the Deuterium Bomb is huge. That's a tough counter.
Do you think that they remove that effect from weather? Like, because it's basically a clear weather and a bomb in the same card.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, no, I think it's. So you're asking me if they should put that more, or what are you asking me? I'm sorry.
So when you play weather, if they clear sky it, they still get their buff back. So take away the bomb effect from the weather.
Oh yeah, okay.
Take away the bomb, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like when they clear skies, if their buffs are still there, at least it's not as soul crushing.
Oh, that's a good point. And by the way, I don't know if y'all. I'm sure y'all knew this. I don't know if you have. I'm kind of one of the. I run a lot of monster decks. So do you know that I use my Arch Griffins as healers?
How?
Okay, so let's say I'm playing a Skellige Wound deck, right? And I have big creatures all on my back row, and what they'll do is they'll ping you down, right? So let's say I have let's just say for a 10, a 10, a 10, and they ping them all down to 3s. If I put Rain on that back row, and then Arch Griffin out, they go back to 10s.
That's dirty, man.
It's I feel bad, but it's true.
That's what I mean. That's
Such a douche move.
It does. It resets them to the regular
strength. I think that's the stuff to get iron out. That sort of stuff, though. And with weather, like what I'm saying, when you frost the row and they lose all their buffs, basically every frost is a frost and a Deuterium Bomb. Every fog is a fog and a Deuterium Bomb, because you're taking away them buffs also.
You're totally right. Yeah, that's not if you. That's a great point. If they have a 20 strength bronze and you weather them and it gets cleared, it should go back to 20.
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah,
I think they can balance it with that.
Yeah.
But still, if you're not up against the weather deck, you have dead cards in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's finding the balance, and I think at the minute with weather being so strong, why should it have a Deuterium Bomb attached to it? It makes no sense. Do you know what I mean? As strong as it is, why have that effect also?
That's a
Maybe
great point.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? It's because if your weather sticks, you're still going to clear the row anyway. Do you know what I mean? So if they manage to get rid of it, getting punished and the buff getting taken away as all just seems a bit too much. It's like your weather's strong anyway, and now you're giving your weather steroids because it has the Deuterium Bomb effect attached to it.
This is a great audience. I'm trying to pull an audience. Zetman, there's been Rune, if you've seen another one, but Zetman217, Mythic Pilot, thank you for joining us. Jimmy Josh, of course. So Zetman has this great comment. The issue with weather is that fractions other than monster don't have an archetype that utilizes weather. I'll disagree with that, but I'll get in a second. They don't have cards that spawn weather or benefit from weather. That's true in a sense. However, I'm working on a Skellige control weather deck because they have a lot of immune.
Of his comment, which is totally true in my opinion. Every kind of maybe every kind of like it's like almost unfair if you disadvantage the opponent, but you get an advantage out of it. That's basically what Monster does, and not a single other deck out there does something like that is equally huge. Which is, I mean, yeah, it's just like one of the most powerful things at the moment. You basically disable your opponent, and at the same time you make yourself so strong, which is it's just, in my opinion, so dirty to actually.
I do think though Skellige weather can challenge it. I've got a weather immune deck, but I don't have the cards. But I have the deck there, and looking at it on paper without testing it, I think the Skellige immune weather deck can be the strongest.
I have one. I've been working at it. The problem with it so far, and I have all those cards actually. I know it's sad, right? I've been working with it because it is dirty, especially when you have a young berserker in the front row. You frost their side, and those young berserkers become 6s with frost immune. There's a lot of dirty cards in there for Skellige. The problem is, if you're going against a monster deck, you do pretty good. But if you don't go against a monster deck, and you go against, let's say, a hardcore removal deck, your guys are kind of small, and they just get picked off. So I'm still working with it, and I use Herald the Cripple. So the thought process behind it was, I have Ragnarug in it. Ragnarug, Herald the Cripple, board wipe on their side. that was the idea, and all my guys are Frost, Rain, and then the Bears in the front Resilient. I'm still working with it, but it's just...
You've also got, is it Harold Jamar? How do you say it?
Yeah, Halmar.
Yeah, that's it. And then you put the Frost down, and then you use your Archer, and you ping him off, and there you've got a 20 gold as well, which is a nice little touch.
Oh yeah, it's nice. There's some good parts to it, but I do well against monsters, but I haven't run against the top tier monster deck. I beat the starter decks, the kind of the ones that use Aerodin turn 1. But I go against a lot of wound decks when I play them for some reason, and they just ping apart all my guys, and it's like, oh shit.
So hopefully they do something with weather, because that was one of my concerns when we were talking about the concerns. It's just like, you make a deck, if your deck can run weather, your deck's better. It's just like any deck you can run. Like, so when I'm making a deck, doesn't matter what deck, the first question in my mind, can I use weather? It's like, that's how good it is. It's like, I make a deck and I think, right, can this deck use weather? If it can, my deck just got a lot better. So hopefully they'll come up with something.
The thing is, you have the card Aeromancy. That's a card that utilizes weather. Do you still can you use it in every deck? I mean, in my opinion, you can use it in every deck, but can you actually run that in almost every deck?
Yeah, why couldn't you? Because you can choose where you want it at the time. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be able to play. I think Aeromancy should go in every deck nearly. Like, it's like, I don't have the card. It's like, why wouldn't you want that? It's like on demand, right? I need to take out melee, ranged, seized, whatever. It's just an amazing card. It's basically Dagon. It makes Dagon seem terrible because basically you have Dagon in your deck.
So,
that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point.
They need to make Dagon better, and they plan to. I've heard the devs mention they plan to make Dagon better, because I mentioned that also, that he's like in weather control. In my weather control deck, I don't run Dagon because he's not. It's not good enough. I don't even run him. I run Aerodin over Dagon.
Me too.
Aerodin is just one of the most solid heroes in my opinion. Just so good.
Yeah, and matter of fact, in my video I talked about it, and I know if you're doing a total weather control, you know that it eventually gets down to the point where you've controlled the board so much that 10 points, that's a win. That's a win condition 70% of the time.
And you'd rather drop that than have another fog or whatever.
Right, you have the weather already.
That's it. So,
okay.
So to me, Dagon is not great at the minute, but I know they plan to change it.
So what do we think of Scoia'tael's traps?
Okay, so what I thought about them was the same like King Blacktooth. They're immune to everything. They're immortal. You cannot handle them. You can only avoid them. But they're so weak and so predictable, just like the secrets in Hearthstone. But the secrets in Hearthstone aren't actually that weak. But these ones, you actually can play perfectly around it. You can just apply another tactic or something, or even just sacrifice a minion, even because you know it's not that big of a deal. I've done it before. I've just I really need my combo, but I don't need this card, so I'll sacrifice him. And it wasn't a big deal that the opponent got a little advantage or this or that, but they're pretty weak. They're not strong enough in my opinion.
I wonder. I'm sorry, Luke. I know I'll let you go. I just want to say this is a funny kind of comment. I wonder how many prize-winning cows those Scorch traps have eaten. Because I know if you have I don't know if y'all have seen I've seen a lot of these trap decks. As soon as I see a Scorch trap, I throw a cow on top of it. It gives me a hamburger, gives me a 9 strength hamburger, gives them 2 little crappy units.
I don't run cow. I don't like the card.
Yeah, do you know what? Cow, I love cow, because what I love doing is using my hunt warrior and pinging it off. It's unbelievable all the time. It's like I have pinged off more cows than any other card. Because, and then I get a 6. My hunt warrior goes to 6, and they only net 3, and they lose the ability that they won it from the cow.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. I use it.
I've cut cow from my decks, and he's horrible at monster. Like, first time I had him, and it's like a free to play, I got to play. And I'm not joking, there must be something, I don't know what it is, but cow likes to get kept on the board. Like, I have Aerodin, I have Geralt, I I have
It's so true.
Manticore and it picks the cow.
Yeah, I've seen it happen so many times.
I know it happens so much. I just thought, see, cow's gone.
I always laugh at the opponent then because I don't run a cow because I just don't like the card in general. Yeah. So any other general impressions of the close beta? We've had the weather. So that's a big topic. We've had traps, a small topic, but because they're pretty straightforward as well. Any other things we want to discuss?
Well, real quick, Mythic, a couple good comments here. Mythic, I always rely on for great comments. He's phenomenal. Mythic Pilot. With a Herald deck, you throw him after your opponent overcommitted and wipe that Lord of Unvic along with other cards. That was a great comment. Jimmy Josh, I think the mind games of Dol Blafana Trapper versus Fire Trap is cool. It really makes you think. Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but weather. Hamburgers. Traps are seen as weak because people know them. When you play against someone using a good trap like Torville, they won't see it coming. That's true. Once they get more traps, it'll be better, but it's still just kind of crap right now, in my opinion. Still easy to avoid. Perhaps if traps were in place, that's what I was getting at. Zepman, perfect Zepman. Perhaps if traps were in place on a specific row, because.
But still,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If traps, they're already immortal, and if you don't know which row they go, it's even more strong. I mean, the strong factor about traps are that they are immortal. You cannot do anything about them, only ignore them. And if you don't even know which row they go on, that's just insane, in my opinion. If the traps now themselves got a little better, it might be actually good, but right now the traps are just so underwhelming at this point that it wouldn't matter that much. But if traps actually were good, that would be completely broken in my
Well, if you're a hunter and you're using traps, what's more effective? A trap that the animal can't see, or one that's in the middle of a friggin' field that they can easily just take a step to the right and avoid it? I mean,
yeah, but then I think they would tip the balance the other way and they'd be too strong.
They'd be too strong?
If you did, oh, definitely. I haven't given up on traps yet. I haven't got to try them. I've got a great trap deck, face down deck with Ida, Torval, Kieran, but I don't have the cards. I wish I had the cards. I wanted to test the decks. I think the deck has so much potential, but I don't have the cards to test it. And at the minute, people are just playing the card that's obvious. It's always obvious. It's like, I think it's down to people not being able to play traps, because I don't think traps is an easy deck to play. Like, the way I see traps being played, it's like, I know what it is. Like, you're playing it. It's too easy to read how you're playing it. Yeah. So I'm not giving up on traps. I think they can be strong, and I think if they didn't show up Watley, I think they'd be too strong. I think it would tip the balance like a bit too much.
And maybe we haven't just gotten to this good opponent that actually made an optimal deck with traps yet. So maybe
I have a list, but I can't make it.
Maybe we've just placed with these starter decks or something, and they place fire traps in there or something. That's
the problem with all the Skoya architects. You need the cards a lot.
Yeah, you need so many. Skoyatel is definitely one of the more expensive factions to make, in my opinion. Definitely.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing monsters. By the way, when the beta started, monsters was my fourth choice. I just felt it would be kind of too easy. Although I've had fun working with different decks, I wanted to do Skellige first, Northern Realms second, Soyatel third, and then monsters. But when I opened my packs, I got all the monsters, so I was like, well, I might as well make monster decks. And it's been quite fun. But and Mythic Pilot, and it echoes what you said. There'll be more traps in the future. I think traps are OP, but people haven't used them optimally yet, which is what you said. And they become stronger once they're more. And then Zetman, to balance it, you introduce a neutral bronze that reveals traps and gets buffed or throws it onto the opponent's side. So that's interesting.
There's a 1 in 4 chance that you actually get an opponent that is Skoyatel. And if you don't have Skoyatel, the other factions don't have traps, so it needs to be an already really good card on itself to actually.
You can't tech. What you're saying is you can't tech for it because it's not popular enough.
Mm-hmm, indeed.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and also if it even was popular, if you're up against another opponent that doesn't run traps, still it needs to be a really good basic card it needs to be a solid card. And when you actually pull it off, then it should get him a really big buff, like a major buff. It's the same in Hearthstone. If someone plays the secret and you play a card that counters that secret, mean, it's kind of a basic standard card, but if you actually can pull it off and steal the secret or something, it's huge. Suddenly, it's just amazing. But if you want to have one of those stack cards, it needs to be solid on its own against other cards, because only traps are only for Squirtle, and that's a problem if you have to counter that, and specifically against that.
Okay, so we're rolling right now. This is good. So anybody have? I want to get to we have a few more topics. Although we can keep on talking about the closed beta for days, and we can if y'all want. It's up to you. I'll let y'all decide.
No, let's go move on.
All right.
Let's talk about just the deck sizes and stuff, because there's a huge. I mean, there's kind of a controversial about that. So, what do you guys think after playing is now the optimal size?
Well, the same as I thought before.
Yeah.
That'll never change. 25.
While I will say 25 is the correct choice, I will just to be obstinate #26. That's how I'll leave it.
All right. You're one of the cool guys now. We get it.
Right. I'm not gonna. I won't give up. I won't give up. But
all right.
Go ahead.
I think that's kind of it for the general impressions of the closed beta. We kind of covered everything, and if we miss something, we'll probably get to it in the later topics.
What are you thinking, Ruben, on the deck size?
25 all the way.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I mean, you have six silvers, 4 gold ones, and then you can put 5 times 3 bronze cards in there, which is perfect. It's absolutely. I'm a Northern Realms player, and I pull out a lot of cards, and I need the 3 copies exactly of my card. So I think 25 is the perfect deck size. Maybe not for other factions so much, but for Northern Realms, definitely.
We didn't talk about Northern Realms. We didn't talk about it. We skipped. We hit hard on the monsters and Soytel, but we didn't really talk about Northern Realms.
Because Northern Realms is like it's like the basic deck. When you think about the mechanics of Gwent and everything about Gwent, I think Northern Realms was the first thing they made. That's what I'm thinking. And it's the most logical or easy deck in my opinion. Like Monsters is maybe easier, or I think it's just like better in an easier way or something, if that even makes sense. Yeah, but I think Northern Realms is like when you would make this game, I think you would make it Northern Realms way. That's just what I'm thinking.
I know you.
Yeah, but Northern Realms is kind of strong. I've played 2 variations now: the gold buffing and the actually medicing and pulling out a lot of cards and buffing them. You know, just the general Northern Realms. I actually made a really cheap and effective deck. You only need like 300 dust or something to make it, and I had the first few days I had like 50 wins and 2 losses or something with it. It was really good. Now it's not that fluid anymore because your monster deck is on the internet, Shifu, and everyone's using it. It's disgusting. It definitely counters the deck and made it kind of obsolete.
Yeah, monsters are meta defining.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really do appreciate the compliment. I it's funny. I made that monster deck and it had I don't know 1,300 views in a day, and on Gwent DB, and it's really strong. It's really strong. But yeah, it crushes Northern Realms. It just crushes them.
Yeah, it wasn't a compliment though.
I'm gonna take it like one. I don't care. I'm taking one. All right. So I like Northern Realms. I've had a couple of really nice Northern Realms decks, but I can't. I mean, monsters just destroy them. So here's an interesting one. It's kind of a off. I don't know if I want to put this last or I just go with it now. Wipe or not to wipe. Now we have free to play. We have a free to play hardcorest. Little.
Yeah,
we have.
I'm repping for the free to play.
Yeah, you are, and I'm repping for the people that are idiots and spent a lot.
I'm middle weight.
And you're middleweight. It's actually perfect. So from my perspective, I'll start with mine since Daddy Warbucks here or whatever. I am all for a wipe. I'm good with it because I've put some money in and I did not get any foil animated goodness. Now while I have literally all the monster cards except for one that I don't really care about. I have almost all the Northern Realm cards, and I have about a good bit of Skellige and Soytail, but for some reason I was front end loaded on Northern Realms and monsters. So I'm all for a wipe to give me. I want animated cards. If that being said, if they don't wipe, I'm happy with what I have, but I feel like I've lost out on a chance to get a lot of animated cards. So that's where I'm at.
Where I'm at, I'm in the middle. I bought a little bit of packs I think I've opened 75 in total, and I've earned myself 30 of those or something like that. And I've only gotten 2 legendaries, some kind of free-to-play ish. Where I'm at is they definitely 100% have to wipe. They have to reimburse us. They have to put everyone at 0, because it just, the level system will probably be changed. We'll talk about that next topic. But the thing is, just they have to wipe because we didn't get premium cards, and if you open packs, you'll get a chance of premium cards. Just not right now in the closed beta, but when release hits, you'll be able to get them. So they have to wipe because we totally. I mean, if CDPR wants to hold true to their fair company, then they just have to wipe. Falling over my words here. But in my opinion, they are forced to, because a lot of people put money in there, and the drop rates might change. They probably will change because it's a little low, and we didn't get a chance for the premium cards, which we really do need. And also double the fun, right? I mean, opening your packs twice, and I think we'll get reimbursed in the amount of packs bought with real money and your level, or amount of games won or played, or something like that. We'll get reimbursed that way, not in like how many packs did you actually open, because they never do that. They never do that.
Right, my turn. So this is the first game ever that I've actually done free to play, because usually I get too carried away. I want to open packs, but I thought, right, I'm going to try as a free to play player so I can have a different perspective. And so what it is, like, I love making decks like Shifu, Ruben, anybody else, and I've got great decks, but I can't post them up, or I have to put a theory craft tag on it because I don't have the cards. So it takes a long time for me to have the cards to make decks. So I have to grind it out. So I've been grinding it out every day, doing dailies, gathering up scraps, crafting epics. Like, I haven't even crafted 1 legendary yet. So I've crafted about 4 epics. My deck's basically full of epics, and I'm on the way to getting a legend. So the perspective of a free-to-play player is, you do all that grind, you get a collection, you finally get your deck that you're starting to get cheesed off playing, because you've probably played it for about 80 games, and then you've got your deck, and then you have to start over again. So when a wipe comes, it's like completely back to square one. So I think when a wipe happens, it crushes the free-to-play player. But from a business standpoint, I would understand why CD Projekt Red would reimburse. I totally get it. I'm just saying, from a free-to-play perspective, it crushes the free-to-play player because you have to start all over again, and then open beta comes day 1, you're way behind again. You're queuing into people that have maybe bought, over the space of 3 months of packs. Like, if a closed beta lasted 2-3 weeks, then I'd be fine. I would say, yeah, wait, no problem. But if a closed beta lasts 3, 4, 5 months, then I've lost everything. And then an open beta, you've got 3, 4, 5 months of packs to open. So your head start is insane. So what I would say is, I would be trumping for a wipe if it was a 3-week closed beta, 4-week closed beta. But we're talking 3-4 month closed beta. Some people's going to have near a full collection, and then it's getting wiped. So that's my perspective. But yes, I understand people who put in the money, didn't get premiums, didn't get the cards won. I understand that. I'm just saying, the longer the closed beta is, the worse the problem is. Short closed beta, I would say wipe. Yeah, everybody wins from a wipe. 4-month closed beta, free to play person really gets screwed over. So
that's a great point. Yeah,
you still have a chance on the premium cards if you're free to play as well, right? I mean, you'll get reimbursed. You have a new chance of more cards. You'll get a lot of scrap again. If things change, for example, if Priscilla gets nerfed into the ground, then you probably won't want to make her. And when the wipe actually is over, when you have her in the closed beta, but you don't want to make her again, so you have leftover scrap for something else. I mean, a lot of things will still change. Maybe monsters, weather, aeromancy, stuff like that will change. Heroes, and you'll have you maybe now craft them with scrap, but they might get nerfed into the ground, and then you're like, well, that's unfortunate. After the wipe, you won't have to waste your scrap on them. I mean, what do you think about that?
Are you feeling though that free-to-play players are going to get some sort of materials? Like, do you think free-to-play players will get anything? Like, what I mean is,
for sure, definitely. If they don't do that, then they're not a fair company.
if free-to-play players get something, get materials to at least craft some cards back,
they'll get packs.
But if they have to start from square one again, then it's terrible for a free-to-play player.
Oh, no, of course not. They will never. I mean, I've had a lot of betas, and they would, if they do not give anything to the free-to-play players, then that's disgusting. They'll give something based on your level. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, well, this is my first closed beta, so I don't know how they do these things.
Oh yeah. Free-to-play players will also get packs. Don't worry.
Well, if that's how they were going to do it, then obviously it makes me feel a bit better. My main concern was, see, the longer it goes, like say you buy 15 kegs week 1, and then week 3 you buy another 15 kegs, and then week 9 you buy another 15 kegs, and then week 12, you know what I mean? Because you're buying them every 3 weeks, so it's not really that bad. But then when a wipe happens, that means you get all them. That's what I mean. You get it all at once. So your head start is massive. That means like on ladder you're just gonna get crushed, like totally crushed. Because I did see a big thing from Noxious talking about legends and that, and I agreed with some of it, but not all of it. Because I do believe you can play Gwent as a free-to-play player, because I've got a deck with a 90% win rate as a free-to-play player, so to me that's competitive. And I even took down a few of the devs out there, CD Projekt Red devs, with my free-to-play deck, so you can be competitive. I just worry, like, the longer it goes, the bigger the gulf is. And then day 1 of open beta, you've got your deck with 3 or 4 legends, and I've got my scrubby deck.
Yeah, well, the thing is, paid players like Shifu will also have a high level, and he will have bought a lot of packs. So he'll get what free-to-players will get, and his paid packs. So
that's what I mean.
The head start is even bigger for Shifu, for example. But Shifu, why don't you point out some of the great comments people made?
Yeah, well, just on that, I had an idea about, you're right. So Mythic is definitely against the wipes. He's a free-to-play player, and he's saying it will screw us free-to-play folk. Zepp, it didn't say anywhere that wasn't the case. I was actually keeping some from case. I thought I could. And Mythic Pilot has a great point. People already know that there are no premiums except for Geralt. It's hardly fair to justify a wipe. Now, here's what I would say now as a pay-to-win player, I guess, would that be. How about this? How about an option for those of us that have deck or kegs? You can choose, as I can choose whether I want to wipe or keep what I have.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
I know,
that's why I said it's awesome.
Yeah, like I'll just choose.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I mean, just give us an option. You know, hey, why don't you go ahead and I'm happy with what I have, or I want to roll the dice and go for premiums.
But free-to-play players will get something. If they don't get anything, free-to-play players, there will be the biggest riot on the internet you've ever seen for any beta from beta to release. But there will be something for free players, a lot actually, just based on the amount you've played, or it will be a similar amount to what you will have, but only with a chance of premium cards. So I think everyone will benefit from a wipe. Everyone, if they do it fairly.
Ruben, I need to step. I have kind of an emergency call. I need to step out for a second. If y'all want to keep on, I might be about 5 minutes. I'll be off. I'm sorry. Right. If y'all want to keep it going, I'll be right back.
Yup, take your time, bro.
Yes.
So we kind of covered the wipe or not to wipe here. Generally, I think everyone should be hoping for a wipe, because it's not only a lot more fun, because you'll get to open like 300 packs or kegs rather in one go. But only free-to-play people will also get kegs. Definitely kegs, in my opinion, because
if it's reimbursed in some way, then it's not as bad.
If that's not happening, then they made a huge mistake. Even Hearthstone would do that. So our next topic here is favorite cards, and we have some cool cards. Shifu is not here to show them, but we can talk about them, and I guess a lot of people will know the actual cards. I'll post them in the Discord, the Gwent After Dark channel, actually. Then it will pop up on
Don't
the screen.
Go ahead and talk, or
Yeah, we'll talk about ours, and when he comes back, we'll talk about his cards, and but he'll probably hop in when we're midway done with our cards. So I'm gonna post one of my favorite. Oh, I'll actually start with your card because it's generally a very well-known one, and it's this card, the Woodland Spirit, or Leshen rather. This is one of your favorite cards. So when it
is. This guy is amazing. For any free-to-play player, he's just amazing. The fact that you get foglets and they're free. I think you get 2 foglets, so you just have to craft 1 foglet. And this guy, obviously, when he hits the board, he spawns 3 wolves that are 1 strength each, and then he plays fog, which pulls out your foglets, and it's always a big swinging turn. And any card with free value is really powerful. You're getting to squeeze in a fog for free in a deck where you play weather anyway. So not only is he cheap because he's only 200 scraps, he's an epic. He's insanely powerful. This guy's more powerful, I would say, than a lot of legends. Like, he is insane value.
I would definitely agree. This is one, and he's only 200 scraps to make, so he's really cheap. I think every monsters deck should run with this, except if you like do a gimmicky deck or something.
If you're a free-to-play player and you're playing monsters, craft this guy. I promise you, it's the best 200 scraps you'll spend.
Because it's just, it pulls out fucking these foglets, which is insane. I mean, how much value do you even get?
So it's 6, 7, 2, 4, 6.
It's 16.
Yeah,
you
and
get
then
16
the
value
3
with 1
wolves.
card.
It's amazing.
That's insane. That's just such a good card. And even if the other opponent has like things in his ranged row, then it gets debuffed. So that's even more value. And this card is insane for only 200 scraps.
That's it. 200 scraps. When I seen the craft costs for epic, I was happy.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at some cards and I thought all the golds would be legendary. So I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be really tough to craft all these things. But then I saw some golden cards were just epics. And I was really happy about that because I could actually make some really strong epics like this one. I crafted this one because it's just such a good card.
First craft.
Yeah.
First craft.
Same actually of me, but I don't really play. No wait, Priscilla was first. Then was Woodland Spirit. Yeah, Priscilla is just also too good.
Yes,
so this card, just so much value. On to your next card again. It is
surprise
card.
Yeah, that's it. And then, there you go. These 2 guys together. Trust me, your win rate goes through the roof.
Yeah,
with these 2 cards alone, you take a free-to-play deck to a competitive deck.
Yeah,
with these 2 cards alone, because of the value they bring. It's bringing in the free cards, the free weather, and Corinthia, I think, is crushing decks. Like, this guy crushes Skellige, can crush Northern Realms if they're doing the strat, but they're using their melee units. Some people use the range units, some are using melee. He also crushes the other monster deck that's running the ghouls and the fiends. This guy has won me so many games. Every time if I see these 2 guys in my starter hand, I've won the game. Every time I get these 2 guys in my starter hand, I know I've won the game. Because what I do is, I use Eridan, and I use the tactic of Eridan with Geralt for round 2. So I'll go 1-0 up, and I take Geralt or Eridan into round 2. And if I've got these 2 guys in my hand for round 2, you're winning. Like, you win 2-0 a lot of times. So this guy is insane. He puts 14 strength on the board and frosses the melee lane.
Definitely, I totally
again, 200 scraps.
Yeah, 200 scraps. I was just about to say, this card is only 200 scraps. I mean, these 2 cards in total, 400 scraps. How long would you take to get the 400 scraps, roughly?
Well, I think I'm nearly sure day 1 I've crafted both of these guys. Like, not the night of beta, not that night, but the next day, if you know what I mean. The first full day, I'm nearly sure I crafted both of these guys.
Damn, that's actually really freaking fast. Holy shit.
Yeah, I did mill though. I did mill, so I milled.
Yeah, me too.
I milled a couple of epics I didn't want. So I milled 2 cards from Northern Realms, and then my scraps, and I crafted these 2.
Why wouldn't you mill right now? I mean, is there a reason you shouldn't mill?
I think if you're a free-to-play player, pick the faction you pick 2 factions you really want to play, and then I think it's safe to mill. Mill a certain archetype. But don't mill.
You mean actually deleting cards you don't have double?
So what I'd been is I went to Northern Realms and there was epics that I won't play, so I milled them.
Okay. Well, with milling, I think about just killing off your duplicates for scraps.
No, I mean actually recycling cards that I'm not interested in.
Alright, yeah.
I had to.
That's a really good tip actually. But there's just in general some cards that they're just bad and you have and they're epic. You can always disenchant them because sometimes they're just. I mean, other cards are just worth more. Like these.
And that's one area where a wipe actually helps a free-to-play player because I was trying to find out from the devs if there is a wipe or not. Because if there is a wipe, then I'm just going to mill a complete faction, the leader and everything. I know that sounds crazy, but for me, if I don't want to play that faction, if I mill it, then I can get a competitive deck and 2 other factions. So if a wipe happens, I'm happy. But if a wipe didn't happen, then I'd be extremely unhappy.
It will happen. Trust me, it will. It should.
But yeah, these 2 guys, if any free-to-play players are watching this, I promise you, craft these 2 guys, and your win rate will go through the roof.
Definitely. If you play monsters. If you don't like monsters, yeah, you shouldn't. But
No.
Then the next card is one of my favorites, and it's Olgierd, or however you pronounce his name. This card is like his basic strength gets adjusted when you buff him. It might be a bug. Some people have been telling me that it's a bug, but it might not. I'm not really sure actually right now. But this card, I played against Team Blacktooth randomly, and he placed this guy, and he was like not doing a lot. He had a really weak board, and I already had like 30 power, and I was like, I'm gonna pass. And that's generally what you would do. And then he used 6 cards or something to buff this guy up all the way to 60, and then he promoted it. And holy shit,
that is cheesy.
And it just keeps coming back. If it's a 64, next turn it's a 62. Golden. You can't do anything about it unless you have Philip or something. Or the card that ungolds someone. But this card is just so dirty. I just conceded. But the next turn I played again actually against him. Really random, but and I knew his tactic and I could counter it, and because I had it in mind. But it's just such a fun card. I was really happy and smiling because I got owned by such a gimmicky and cheesy tactic. But I loved it. I was like, yeah. You have to discover these things, and when someone actually pulls something off like that, it's like in Hearthstone when you pull off a crazy combo and it actually works. Here in Gwent you actually have more freedom with that, and I hope to see more crazy combos like that actually.
Yeah,
that's why
sorry, go ahead.
That's actually why this is one of my favorite cards right now, because this is the first crazy gimmicky cheesy combo I've seen, and it actually worked.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more combo decks when pass turn happens.
Mm-hmm.
Also, though, he's cheesy in the Northern Realms, like you say, but he's actually very competitive and good in Skellige because of the shield. The shield master, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Plus 4 on original strength.
Yeah, I think it's. Sure.
And then you can keep doing that because shield master's a good card anyway. And then you put plus 4 and that makes him a 10. If you give him plus 4 again, he's a 14. So you can still do it, but in a more competitive scenario in Skellige. So he's not just a cheese card. He's actually quite a strong card in Skellige, I feel, a lot with that Shield Master buffing the original strength.
It's Shieldsmith, but it's close enough. Yeah. So for my next card, this is my all-time favorite card, and this was my first legendary as well. I was so lucky, but I wasn't lucky because it was my 50s. I was on pack number 50, and then I got my first legendary. So it took me a really long time to get my first legendary, and but I got this one, and I was so happy. It was totally worth because Philippa Eilhard, holy crap, this card is broken as fuck. It's insane. It's literally so broken, but I love it. It's just.
And that's an old picture, isn't it? She's only a 6.
Right. She's only a 6. Yeah.
In case anybody see in the picture, that it's a 6 now, so she's insane.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that makes her insane is she also changes gold cards, guys, and that's the absolutely disgusting thing about her. So yeah, have you ever seen her played against you? Because I've only seen her played, and it was by me. So yeah.
I haven't seen her played against me, but she is an insane card. For anybody maybe tuning in for the first time wondering, she's disloyal, so she goes on the other side of the board, and she only gives 6 power to the other side, but she puts the strength of all units on the row to 1, including gold. So she's insane in a control deck. It'll be a long time before I get the player, but she's an insane card.
She's insane in almost every deck, even if it isn't control.
Yeah, because you're only given 6 power.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna skip Shifu's card for the moment, his favorite cards, and we're gonna go over of our sleeper cards. Last time in the previous podcast, we called out some sleeper cards, and what a sleeper card is a card that we think is gonna be a really strong and broken when it actually sees play, because it was all theory crafting last week until we actually got the release. So the first card I thought was a sleeper card was this card, Sarah, because we thought weather was going to be really strong. We were correct. We thought Sarah because Ragnarok as well plays 3 times a weather, and then she gets plus 12, so she becomes an instant 15, which is really hard to deal with. And this card, yeah, I think it was a sleeper. Now it's kind of it's not completely broken, but it's a really solid card.
Yeah, she's a great card, and she was my 3rd craft. Anybody playing a weather deck, this is a must craft.
Definitely. Even me in Northern, I run it in Northern Realms just because I have Pyromancy, but just because I saw so many monster decks, I relied on 1 win or 1 turn, and I could easily win just 1 turn, and sometimes 1 turn is all you need, or like the 3rd turn. Like monster decks, usually the first turn they're pretty weak and they don't put out that much weather then. So I use my general combos then, and in the last turn where they play all their weather and stuff, and your combo is really hard to pull off as a Northern Realms player. Then if I play Sarah, then she can win rounds because she's just so immune. Because monsters are generally they don't run Scorch that much. Maybe, I mean, not all of them. I know a lot of monsters still run it, but some would still discard it in their mulligan or something.
She's also good, if the meta is weather heavy, as in she counters weather. Well, not that she counters it, but at least you're getting something back. When they play a weather, they're going to be buffing your Sarah.
Indeed. So for next, we also thought this card was going to be a sleeper card. Just going to put her up here. Philippa Eilhard. This is my favorite card, and we just talked about her. She's definitely insane. She's really strong. So
very powerful.
Yeah, just again, this was definitely a right call, I think.
Yeah. She's a great card. She was the card everybody was, the people who were talking on this card. This was the girl that was going to be insane, especially when we see the 6 strength change.
Yeah.
At 11 she was still strong, but 11's a lot of giveaway. But when she came out at 6, after their latest update, it was she just went through the roof and power level.
Indeed. So for people that are joining in, Shifu just got a quick call. He's just he'll be back. Oh, there he is actually.
I'm back. Yeah. Hey.
Oh yeah, there. Hey, we just went over our favorite cards. The Woodland Spirit, Karantir were Little League, his favorite cards. Olkiert and Philippa Eilhard were my favorite cards. So now we have your favorite cards. The first one, or actually the only one that you sent, was this one. Giant Toad.
Yes. So, guys, I want to say thank you, Little League and Ruben, for just being awesome, man. I had a work emergency. I'm very, very sorry I was unprofessional, so thank y'all for taking care of it. So Giant Toad, So I have 2 decks that I really like this guy in, and I found him to be one of the stronger monster cards. That's going to shock everybody. He's no longer immune to rain. He once was. The history of Giant Toad. But the fact that in one of my decks, in the Monster Nest deck, he acts as an activator for Arrakis. So if you have an Arrakis Behemoth and you use Giant Toad, not only do you draw a card, but that Arrakis Behemoth will spawn an Arrakis, which then is nestable, and he starts the chain for one of my decks. So he's a chain starter, and he draws a card, so he's like a battery for one deck. And another deck of mine, Monster Extra Large, he is the protection for my bitches. My witches. So, right, he comes in, he eats a drowner, right, and that makes him a 12. Well, the opponent's usually going to scorch him, and that's okay if they do. I don't care if they do. At 12 strength, I draw a card. I play 3 witches. With 2 cards, I get 33 strength on the board, just with a toad and a witch. And it kind of, witches and toads go together, so to speak. So it works out really well. So Giant Toad for me is a draw card and a super strength card or an activator. So he works in 2 decks. He has a totally different purpose, and he's just one of my favorite cards.
Yeah, he's got great premium art as well. I remember seeing premium art from, was it Kill the Servers?
Amazing. And
no, I think it was the panel from PAX East.
Well, whenever it was, the premium art was awesome in this guy.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've played the Hearts of Stone expansion from The Witcher 3, but he was a crushingly difficult boss battle with a really cool story. So it not only does it have a cool bit of lore attached to this card, but I know the league you haven't, but it's a really cool bit of lore with this card, and the story, literally, just so you know, is that it was a take on a kissing the frog. He becomes a prince, and those that don't know, not only literally, but what basically happened was Geralt was tricked into killing him, and it ended up being a prince from a different country who was cursed. And so Geralt killed, set in motion a bunch of events, but basically brought him under the sway of Gaunter O'Dim in that storyline. So this was actually a Prince and the Frog, and there's a bunch of maidens in this sewer where you fight him. It's a really cool little take on it. And if you haven't read the books, the Witcher books, it's rife with these really cool takes on these established Grimm's fairy tales or these really cool stories. There's Shrike and the Seven Dwarfs. There's a bunch of getting off track, but Giant Toad's one of my favorite cards in the set.
Alright, and then we went over some of our previous sleeper cards that we called out, and we went over Sarah first. That was my call, because we had anticipated on weather being quite strong. We were right, and Sarah, just general solid card, maybe not OP, but just solid. And then we said Philippa Eilhart. We went over her when in my favorite cards, just broken as shit.
She is.
Good. I think she just, especially with the 6 now, she's only a 6, not 11, so that's what makes her so much more stronger.
Oh, I want to do something, Ruben. I'm sorry. I want to cut in real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just thought about this card. I don't know if you can find it, but in Northern Realms, there's a silver card that I think is hugely underrated. That just came to me while you were talking. It just hit me. She's a 3 strength card that acts as a living bomb on the other side.
Alright, so
Sabrina.
I'll give you Aeromancy, and I'll just collect that card real quick, alright? So that was the sleeper card of, I think it was Mr. Beard, but I'm not really sure on that one, so I'll just quickly search for the card.
Yeah, Aeromancy, great card. I think this card can go in any deck. I think it's just that good. It can go in any deck. There's not when don't you ever want a weather on demand?
Right.
It's just good. Just goes in every deck.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're playing if you're a Soyatel even, which you wouldn't think of as a weather-based deck, because they are maneuverable and they can go on any row. If you're having a problem with Siege Northern Realm, you can plan ahead and put all your units on the first and second row, Aeromancy and Rain the third row out, just as a Soyatel use.
I like Scoia'tael for weather, but I don't have the cards yet. But I think Scoia'tael is very good in a weather archetype because of the agile attribute. Because you can dodge your weather and move around your weather. I think and then you've got the Sapper, who, if you put him on a row and weather it, he will wipe the row. I think Scoia'tael can be very strong.
I think Aeromancy is a must-have in almost any deck. It's just so versatile. It's so flexible. It can. I mean, when I see this card in my mulligan, in my starter hand, I keep it just because it's so strong, and it can do a lot of things. That
I just wish I had the chance to see him in my starter hand.
I bought 40 packs, got 900 dust out of it, and I crafted this card because I thought you can just play this in any deck.
Awesome card.
So I found the card you were talking about, Shifu, and it's this one. It's Sabrina Gleis.
Yes.
Glevici.
Okay, this card is so dirty. I love to play a Northern Realms control style. I haven't posted any videos on it because I'm still working, tweaking stuff. Sabrina Glevisig, whatever, right? Sabrina the Bomb, because that's what she is. You literally put this bad boy on the other side of the board. It is a 4 damage card waiting to blow up their whole board. It is a constant threat. I will say the best neutralization of this card was I played a Northern Realms player and he promoted her. So I couldn't do anything about her. So it was like a really smart play.
Nice play.
Yeah, it was a great play. I put her down, I'm like thinking to myself, haha, control, and he said, haha, 5 for me forever. So I was like, shit. Like, that sucked. So yeah, that's a counter if you know Northern Realms, by the way. But yes, she has won me so many games with Northern Realms. I run Siege Row, just start plinking them down, keeping them at that 4 strength range, and then boom, just destroying their cards. Also put together, if you there's a Redanian soldier, I can't remember his name, that takes away a gold, or if you have Dykstra, I don't have him yet, takes away all their gold, so everybody's free to get hit with Sabrina. She's a crushingly good card for control Northern Realms, and that's one of the ones I wanted to point out too.
I think the only thing is where she's limited, where Philippa isn't, is she can only be placed in the ranged row. Yeah, that's the thing. If you could place her in every row, I think she'd be almost included in it. You could actually make a control deck around Philippa, Alhard, and Sabrina. Then I think, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
and
I think
Radovid.
the control decks are gonna be so expensive. Holy shit!
They are.
Just the dragon. You need the dragons. You need the other stuff. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see though. And I want some more bronze control kind of cards, because right now only silver and golden cards kind of control the states of the game or other cards, and that's kind of a little bit disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah, someone just said in Twitch chat also that you could decoy her and use her yourself as well, which is a nice point.
Ah, yeah, that's actually
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good counter. That's a hell of a counter, yeah.
So, one of the last sleepers here I have is Dimeridium Bomb. We call this one a sleeper. So, do you think we were right? Because it's still strong, but I mean,
I think it's meta dependent, isn't it? It's always meta dependent. Like, if buff decks are the thing, then Bomb's insane. So, but the reason I think Bomb loses a lot of its shine is because where there is a bomb built in, yeah, it does the same thing for free. Like, this takes away buffs, so does Frost, so does Fog, so does Rain. I think that's the problem with this card. Weather just does the same thing.
True.
Yeah.
I can totally agree. But still, this is kind of like a clear weather in one card. It basically does the same, almost. So I don't think this card is OP, not at all. But it might be a solid card, depending. It's to me.
Well, if you think about it, would you rather, right? So let's say someone's buffing up their melee guys, or they're getting all crazy buff. You want to play a silver bomb, or do you want to just play a bronze fog, or play Caranthier, a bronze frost, or play Caranthier who plays a frost for free and does the same effect as bomb? Because if you clear skies, you've done what bomb does. You've took away the buff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only problem with that card, because weather does this effect.
That's true. I think I would rather have this card than clear weather as well. This is like clear weather is a bronze, so that's why you would play clear weather and not this one. But still, this is like clear weather and debuffing another your opponent's buff in one card. So if he buffs, so I think this card is more solid. I mean, you have a pretty good chance that your opponent will weather or will play a buff deck. In my opinion.
If we see the rise of Skellige, like if the Skellige meta takes place, this card will see a rise.
Yeah, it's good. It's good if your units are under weather effect and you bomb and bring them back up and close out the game.
Yeah.
It's good that way also. But then I think play clear skies. I mean, it's just I think this card will be better when they figure out what they're doing with weather. I think if they take the deuterium bomb effect out of weather, then this card's good. But I think while weather exists, why would I play this card? That's just my own personal opinion.
There you go.
So that was the last sleeper card. And as a next topic, it's a pretty big one, is the reward system. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. The level system in general, actually, just progression in the game. Right now, if you lose a game, you cannot progress, which is maybe a little bit bad. Like levels, they don't actually really mean anything. Someone could have played like 100 games in 3 days, and I cannot have played like 20 games a day, and I'm a higher level than him. But that doesn't seem right. If someone plays 100 games and I just play 20 over the course of a few days, he should be a higher level than me. But still, because I do it over a few days, I'm a higher level. That just to me seems wrong. I think rewards and levels should totally be split. But right, it's closed beta. It doesn't really matter what level you are, right? But if they want to do this for launch, they gotta do it right and not this way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's rewarding for wins. It's not rewarding for playing.
Exactly.
Your dailies are supposed to reward you because you're playing the game, not reward you because you're a good player and you're winning. But on the flip side of things, I think the fact that you can get almost 3 kegs, it's not 3 kegs because you have to grind to get 3 kegs. So guaranteed 2 kegs and maybe 50, 100 scraps, something like that. It's not bad for your dailies because, like in other CCGs, your dailies wouldn't get you 2 packs.
Right.
So it's just the problem is that you have to have so many wins. I think it's like 3, then 6, then 9. So it's 18 wins to hit all your dailies, which is very grindy for dailies. Like dailies for a casual person is jump in, play 3 or 4 games, 5 games max, get my dailies, and then move on. Here, it's 18 wins, not 18 games. It's 18 wins. That could be 35 games for somebody.
It's exactly it.
To do your
a few
dailies.
hours, which just to do dailies, a few hours is.
Yeah, it's not dailies really. So there's work to be done there. On the one hand, getting 2 kegs sounds great. It's just on the other hand, it's all what you have to do to get it. So I think it needs to change.
Yeah, me too. Because a free-to-play player wants to get all the value out of his dailies, but it might be frustrating because you're playing against all these monster decks, for example, or the meta. It's a little bit imbalanced, and you're constantly losing, and it can be a little bit frustrating because you're not progressing in any way, not at all. If you're on a losing streak or something, it
feels terrible.
You feel like you're getting nowhere, or not anywhere, so it feels terrible to actually constantly lose. And that's one of the things we talked about in episode 2 or something. If you feel like you keep losing, you shouldn't feel like you're actually achieving nothing. Losing shouldn't feel that bad, and right now it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I've noticed though. I've noticed since the game started, as you like, I'm level 19 right now. As you play, like I'm now playing a lot of. I don't really play any weak opponent. Like when I started playing level 1, level 2, people were scorching themselves. Like I saw a lot of Aridin first turn pass monster decks. Now I'm playing a bunch of really good players, and it's really
Same.
competitive.
Yeah. And it begins to get a lot harder to actually get your 18 wins. And in the first few days, it was like, oh, a win, another
Right.
win. And it was so easy. And we're like, okay, I might see this. I mean, this progression system for me is not that bad. But for the persons on the other side, oh my god, it must feel terrible. They must have already quit the game, I think.
Yeah, because I'm usually more casual than what I've been with Gwent. I'm playing Gwent a lot more than I would other CCGs because I enjoy Gwent and it's more my style. But in another CCGs, these would be called weeklies. You know, these aren't dailies. If we want to be honest about it, like I'm not having a dig at CD Projekt Red because I believe they'll change this. But these are weeklies. If let's be honest, like you're not going to sit down and get 18 wins a day. It's not happening. Nobody's doing that. Nobody.
It's and
It's
the
like-
fact,
And you have to talk about these things because that's what we're here for, to give constructive criticism. Like, we love your game, but these aren't dailies. They're weeklies.
That's
And
pretty
also,
good.
I would also like to see stuff like just leveling for playing games. If you win, you get a bonus. If you lose, you get your normal amount, which is just the most logical way, in my opinion, to actually level. And if you level, like with every level, you get something or stuff like with every level. For example, you get a keg. People would feel a lot more likely to actually constantly play the game because they're like they're aiming for like level 10 and then they get the keg. Maybe they get a legendary, you know. But if they have to aim for 7 wins, that's quittable. I mean, that's you just say no, thank you, because that's just so hard to achieve. And the fact that there's only one way to actually get something, there's like not achievements. I mean, I'm not saying achievements in Hearthstone were a big deal, but they actually gave you something in the beginning, like play 3 games, play 10 games, unlock every class, this and that. And I mean, it's beta. They probably will have this in the release, but they have to actually separate levels and weekly or daily rewards. In my opinion, they just completely have to separate this.
And then we'll have ladder progression as well, I think because we've no ranked ladder and we can't see the progression and the reward system on the ladder, it makes the dailies look even worse. Like, what I mean is, like, what we're talking about might be what their ladder is. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ladder might be very rewarding. And then when you you look at the ladder beside the dailies and you say, alright, it's not too bad, it's actually quite good. But at the minute, it looks terrible.
Yeah, but the ladder is not for everyone because there's a lot of how do you call it? Ladder nerfs, ladder. You know, when you don't want to play ladder because you're afraid to lose your rank, but you also want to get higher. It has a specific name. I just forgot it right now. But people
Campers.
Yeah, well, it's not that word I'm looking for, but yeah. You basically have that, and not a lot of people enjoy that kind of experience. They just want the casual experience, and winning 18 games is not the casual way. But
it's not daily.
I think a keg, a level, is a serious. I mean, if you don't level that fast, then I think it's a nice reward for people, and I mean, it's not that big of a deal to get like a keg a level, right? I mean, you might tone down like the first 3 wins, you get 100 gold. You can tone down that a little bit then. I'm totally fine with that then if you get like a keg per level. But I think that's totally viable to give people or to do a progression system where you actually get rewarded, because the feeling for people will get a lot less like miserable. They feel like they can't do anything. I felt that when playing against monster decks constantly, the weather control decks from Shifu. Then when I like lose 5 times in a row, I'm like, I'm not getting anywhere here. I'm not winning anything. I'm not gaining anything. I'll just go play Battlefield right now because sometimes it's just kind of frustrating, and that's not what you want in a card game.
Well, no, it does feel grindy because I'm not a grinder, and it feels grindy already to me. Like I haven't done my dailies today.
Right?
You know, we're only 4 days in. I haven't even done my dailies, and to be honest, I don't think I will do them today. But it needs to change. It's too long. It's too long a period, and it's a win streak basically.
I think we're going to see ranked. I think ranked's coming. I think they have to have a ranked mode for hardcore players.
Yeah, definitely. But they need to nail their casual theme first. Oh, ladder anxiety. That was the word I'm looking for. People that like don't want to play ladder because they're the good rank and they don't want to lose it. They're kind of stuck, and it gets stressful to play the game because the punishment is too harsh and the rewards are too small.
Is that a thing? Is that a real thing, Ruben? Ladder anxiety? Because I've experienced that on Hearthstone. Yeah.
Hearthstone is one of the biggest games with ladder.
We'll have another name for it, and it's called camping.
Camping? Okay.
I've never actually heard of camping.
Yeah, so you get to rank 1, or you get to a certain legend rank, say 50 or 20, and then you just don't play because there's no decay, so you camp on that spot. But it's more in the high legend sense. Like so if I get to number 10 and then I stop playing for the rest of the month and there's no decay, then I just sit there, don't I? And people will call that camping. Like you're not playing because you're not moving back, and you're not going to try and move forward, and you're just going to sit in that spot.
But ladder anxiety is a really big deal, and they talk a lot about it in Hearthstone and other TCGs. But it's actually a really big thing, and it's like other games have it as well. StarCraft has a level because that's in general a kind of stressful game, and just other games have that, and they don't want to have that. I mean, generally you don't want to have that in your game. I think if right now the punishment for losing is too big. I mean, it's beta, of course. Everything's gonna change, but we're here to actually point out the mistakes or the things they do wrong. So that's. I mean, Gwent is a great game. And
I think everybody's gonna mention that. I can't see them not addressing it because we know, and I would say, everybody that playing know, and the devs surely know that they're not really dailies. Like, I don't think anybody could say they're dailies. I think you're crazy if you say they're dailies. Because if someone's got half an hour before work, he ain't getting 18 wins or whatever it is.
No.
Alright. So, that kind of wraps up our topics. You guys want to hit something else or talk about something else we've missed?
I think, for me, I'm unfortunately, I've had some real world stuff interfere, so if we can cut it short here, or not cut it short, but if we can end it here, that'd be good for me.
Alright, so we were planning originally to do a kind of a challenge or a face-off. You still up for that, or
can we do it tomorrow? Is it possible to do it tomorrow? Because I've got to go to my job and handle some things.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Well, you can do the outro then, Shifu.
Okay, so I appreciate that. So I'll start. That's cool. I appreciate it. I'll start off. I just want to thank Little League. He is an awesome participant. I'm very proud to have him on the show. He brings great insight, great player, and he's always welcome here. I want to thank. He streams. I believe he does. You stream, right? You can get that on your part, but if he does stream, I would watch it. I know he does. Matter of fact, watch Little League. He's a great player, funny as hell. He's a part of #25. We forgive him. Check out his stream. He'll give you the information on where to find it. Ruben is fantastic. He's made the show better just by being here. Thank him for being here. I'm going to stream every day this week, starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central to 10 p.m. Central, and then Tuesday the same. And I'll give you more schedule from there. Always part of the Gwent After Dark podcast. It's my honor. Shifu the Cards on YouTube, Shifu the Cards on Twitch. Thank y'all for being here. Sorry I had to walk out for a little bit, but it's a great show. I think it's a real good show today.
All right, I'll go up next. My name's Ruben, and thanks for the kind words, Shifu. Real nice. I love being here as a co-host. I think you're a great host as well. Thanks for the people being here in the Discord chat. It was a little bit less active, but still, thanks for all the people showing up and giving some comments. Twitch chat was also active. Thanks for that, guys. I have a YouTube channel, small. It's kind of starting out with some videos right now. I'll put some more on there, just helping out some free-to-play players, giving some gameplay, stuff like that. And it's amazing to be able to talk about Gwent like this with actually people that are interested. That's amazing. So also thanks Lil Leak and Shifu. You guys are amazing to talk to. Yeah, it's just nice here.
No problem. So myself, Little League. If you want to follow on Twitter or Twitch, that's fine. As far as Twitch goes and streaming, I'm not streaming currently at the minute because I want to start the grind when the ladder comes in. So once ladder system comes in, I will start the stream because I will be playing a lot more. At the minute, I'm doing my dailies and then finishing up. So hopefully a lot of good streaming to come in the future. And shout out to Shifu and Ruben for inviting me on the show. I'm always here to help you guys anytime you need an extra voice. I've always something to say, as a lot of people know. And it's been a good show. And hopefully in the future I will have a YouTube channel and do deck building guides and common mistakes for new player guides and things like that.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna shut it down. Pull the curtain down. Unless Ruben, you have something that you want to say something else before? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just about to say, see you guys next time.
Yes. See you guys next time. Pull the famous Gwent After Dark curtain down. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on Discord. Have a good one.